Hi, and welcome back to today's live book launch, Mastering the Art of Success, featuring Jack Canfield, co-author of Chicken Soup for the Soul, along with some amazing experts and thought leaders from all over the world. And what we're doing today is we have brought in some of the authors from this book to teach their chapters live to help you to master your own art of success, whatever that is in your life. And our next guest is no exception. Now, before I introduce him, bring him on stage, I want to let you know that this is live, which is really, really cool. So if you're watching along, you get to ask questions, and we're going to be doing a live Q&A with our guests. So if anything that we go over, you want to know, well, how do I do that? What do I do here? Well, this is a situation that happened to me. Let us know. Send in your questions, because we will be answering them live at the end of this presentation, which is really fun. And as you can see, right behind me, our next guest is John Parks Trowbridge, or as he's affectionately known, Dr. T. He's been doing this for 39 years and claims he's just getting started, which I truly love. Asking better questions, finding superior answers for healing your body. He entered general practice back in 1978, and he's enthusiastic for patients to get exceptional care, something that is often overlooked in today's kind of factory process of getting health care. He often lectures across the country in Canada, Mexico, Taiwan, Brazil. He's been endorsed in over 6 volumes of Who's Who, and by a distinguished Lifetime Achievement Award from the International College of Integrative Medicine. But more importantly for today, he's one of the co-authors of this brand new book, Mastering the Art of Success. Please welcome my good friend, Dr. T. How are you doing, my friend?
Greg, I'm wonderful. Thank you. What a privilege to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited for you guys. A, the book came out today. B,
yes.
I know you have people, in your local community and all over the world watching you here today.
I hope so.
That's got to be a cool feeling, though.
People
want to tune in. They want to see what you're up to. And,
right.
You are an educator. You help people.
Right.
You want to make them knowledgeable. But at the end of the day, you're a doctor, right?
Well, yeah. Well, at the beginning of the day, too. Actually.
Yeah.
And that's the fun part, is because, the word doctor does not mean writing prescriptions.
Yeah.
It means educating. Okay. And sometimes patients go, no prescriptions? No, because the education was the prescription to getting better.
Yeah. Well, I want to dig into a little bit of your background, some of the interesting things that you're doing, and kind of your approach today. Before we do, the book.
The book.
You've got to be excited about a book coming out.
I'm very excited about this one. This is, I met Jack Canfield back in December.
Okay.
And I was so blown away, because he is what his books talk about. He is that inspiration. And the opportunity to write with him was incredible.
Yeah,
Couldn't pass it.
So why was it important to write this book? And secondarily, what you wrote about in the book, why was it important for you to write about that today?
Okay. Definitely wanted to be on Jack Canfield's coattails.
Yeah, well, why not, right?
Half a billion books, okay. That means, people listen to him. Okay?
Exactly.
And the reason I had to write this chapter was, patients come in all the time with their concerns.
Yeah.
How do we meet those concerns efficiently and appropriately? And if you just give them a few guidelines, it's easy, it's simple.
Yeah.
They can make it simple for me to take care of them.
Yeah, I love that. Now, you've been doing this for a little while, right?
Little while.
Entered general practice back in 1978.
Correct.
What's changed between 78 and today?
Oh my gosh, what we've learned now that we did not know then, okay? When I started and very quickly found, doing operations and medications doesn't do much, okay? Doesn't really help you heal. And I kind of stumbled into finding that nutrition does help you heal. It doesn't do everything, so I have added a whole range of other treatment programs.
Yeah.
But the neatest thing now is we have tests that we did not have before. An example, okay? I wrote a book called The Yeast Syndrome in 1986, one of Bantam's bestsellers. A wonderful book talking about something that affects about 35% of us in this country, okay? Because of our foods and our medications and so on.
Yeah.
Well, that's great, except we really didn't have some specified scientific tests. Now, in the last couple of years, we can genetically identify specific yeasts that are infecting people, and I'm talking about with desperate diseases: leukemia, low blood counts, kidney failure, skin conditions, MS, heart disease.
That's big deal stuff.
Oh, real big deal stuff.
Yeah.
And the neat thing is to be able to make it get better more than ever before.
Yeah. So when you meet somebody today
Right.
and you're introducing yourself, how do you introduce yourself? How do you explain what you do today?
What I do?
Yeah.
I tell people that when they're sick and tired of feeling sick and tired of the drugs and the surgery, time to let your body heal. God put the system together, put all the instructions inside. So I do only 3 things. I don't care what you come in for. That's just what brought you in, okay?
Yeah.
I find what's blocking you from getting better. Well, we should get rid of that.
Well, so that's really important, and I think we'll talk more about that, but
right.
most doctors are just treating the symptoms.
Correct.
Right? And what's blocking you goes a little deeper,
A little
right?
deeper than that, exactly.
Yeah.
Actually, a lot deeper, because if we keep letting you have, like, wear the shoe that causes the blister, you keep having the blister that needs treating.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah, just got a new pair of shoes.
Yeah, exactly. So what's blocking, get rid of it. What you're missing but you need, it's kind of like you're going to build a house. They come up and push all the materials off and they forgot the nails.
Yeah.
It's going to look a lot more like a log cabin at that point, okay? And the third thing is what switches need to be turned on. This can be hormones, oxygen, a whole variety of things.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you can sit around all day watching your smoothie that's not getting made until you punch the on button.
Yeah.
And so if I do those three things and step back, get out of the way, oh my gosh, you know, the healing happens because God takes over.
So I want to talk about that, and we're going to jump into the chapter, and what we want to teach today is what's the net result of getting rid of the things that are blocking you, the things that are missing but you need, and the switches that need to turn on. What happens to your patients?
Oh, they get revitalized, okay? In every visit, and sometimes they complain, but there's a whole page of questions, how's this, how's that, from 0 to 10, okay?
Yeah.
When they come see me, they're 8, 9s, and 10s on a lot of this, and my job is to move them over to 0s and 1s and 2s.
Okay.
And that's the result, because you can actually heal most of the things happening to you. Now, we're all going to die because aging is a disease happening one day at a time.
Right.
Okay. Nobody made it out alive.
Not yet,
at least. Ever.
Yeah.
Not yet. So the deal is that why not just reverse the aging rate?
Yeah.
And actually revitalize your systems, and you can repair more than you'd ever know. That's some of the exciting stuff we're doing lately.
I love that. So people come in, they fill out this chart. They're saying, I have pain in this area of 8, 9, or 10.
Right.
They work with you, and they're circling 0, 1, or 2. I mean, that's that's incredible.
Pretty neat. Pretty neat.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really worth what I do every day when I show up.
Yeah. So there's tons of talk about healthcare right now. Like, you can't turn on the TV, you can't turn on the newspaper, you can't do.
It's frustrating to me.
I'm sure.
Because what they're talking about is health care, which the government should have no reason to be involved in.
Yeah.
In fact, Benjamin Rush, one of the signers of the Declaration, said, you know, we ought to make sure health care is excluded. Oh, Ben, who's going to ever get the government involved in that? Well, you know, what we mainly need to talk about is how the reimbursement system works, how the insurance system works. Don't talk about how the care system works, because you guys are just Congress critters.
Right.
Let me talk about how the medical care system works.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's not what you hear on any of the media.
Yeah, so we're going to kickstart this with just some dictionary work, some definitions.
Oh, it's a good idea.
So we have healthcare, which you were just describing, and then there's medical care.
Oh,
so
yeah.
What's the definition of medical care?
Medical care is you come into the doctor and you've got a complaint. He figures out which kind of medication or operation you need. That's reacting to your complaint. Okay. But healthcare really is, what's the good stuff to get you better and keep you better? Well, you know, Grandma knew all about that with preventive medical advice. Okay?
Yeah.
You know, get 8 hours of sleep, don't go swimming right after you eat, all that stuff. That's just preventive stuff. But there really are things you can do, eating-wise, exercise-wise, sleeping-wise, nutritional supplements, and so on. There's things you can do to actually restore better health. We also use some medications to help bridge the gap for some of those. But the real deal is predictive medicine, okay? So you want to go from reactive to preventive to predictive, which is saying, you know, with some of the things going on with you, we can see down the pike what's coming.
Yeah.
Let's make changes now to help reverse that tendency.
So I want to stick there just for a minute, because if I'm in pain, my foot hurts.
Right.
I'm going to come see you. John, Dr. T, my foot hurts.
Right.
Let's fix it.
Right.
Hey, Greg, in a few years, your bones are going to start falling apart. Oh, I'll deal with that when it comes,
They
right?
might actually be falling apart now, and we don't know it yet, because we've had that situation where you have to look. You do real diagnosis, you know.
Yeah.
People say, are you a real doctor? Well, I don't know, is that a compliment or not? I got real classical, conventional training. I trained in surgery. I look at things from a doctor's point of view.
Yeah.
But I also look at how are we going to heal it, and that means don't skip the usual diagnostic tests and figure out what's going on, because the patient needs treatment for whatever it is.
Right.
And it's all different.
Yeah. So looking at the problems you have now, looking at the problems that are going to come in the future, predicting this, super important for you guys to understand.
Right.
In order for you to have success, not just with yourself, but with any doctor,
right.
one of the things you wrote about in the chapter is you say we need to avoid overwhelm.
Exactly.
So let's talk about what does overwhelm mean?
Well, actually, just talking with a doctor is pretty overwhelming, okay?
Yeah.
And the words are funny and weird and hard to say, and you can't spell them, and you don't know what they mean. It's amazing when you ask Francina, well, what did he say? When he said this, and so what does that mean?
You're like, I'm not really sure.
They don't have a clue, okay?
Yeah.
So overwhelm is get things written down so you can go look it up. And actually, I got to tell you, Dr. Google is pretty good. People always go to the internet. Well, you can find out information to go, we never talked about that, or I need to bring this up, or something in my history I never mentioned. So overwhelm is when you just don't understand, you're confused, you're not an active participant in your care.
Yeah.
And then the other part is we can give you so many things to do. It's kind of, I can't do all that.
Yeah.
Do it in stages.
Yeah.
Everything in baby steps.
So there's kind of two kinds of overwhelm. There's the overwhelm that we can bring to the office.
Right.
So, well, my knee hurts, my foot hurts, and then you go on for 82 minutes, and for a toe injury.
Right.
And then there's the overwhelm that the doctor can give back to you.
Absolutely. And the doctor's real job is to sort through all the smoke and find where that fire is, because most of the things happening are what I call foundational or utility level. If this is wrong here, it's going to show up all these different places as different things. Yeah. My job is to say, okay, great, okay, I got it. Let's test for this or that and confirm, and then we know where we're dealing at. And the patient doesn't have to worry about all the complaints, they just have to worry about getting better.
Yeah, so when we're dealing with overwhelm, something that you wrote about in the book, and I love this, is that you say, stay focused on your issues and insist on results, whatever it takes, so long as testing and treatments are safe, effective, and doable. That is now focus, not overwhelm.
Oh, it's absolute focus. And what you do is you say, listen, we got this, we got that, we got the other. We can't deal with all these things at one time. Let's start here because we're going to get biggest bang for the buck, okay? If we just do some simple things here, lots of things are starting to get better, and I might not even get to treat later things. They already corrected themselves.
Yeah. What about specialists? Because specialists, they might help in a given situation, but not always, right?
Not always, because specialists are kind of intensely focused like this. Some of them are focused like this. Those are the worrisome ones, okay? Because they have a rigid idea. A generalist thinks he can help what you've got, and a specialist thinks you've got what he can help. Yeah. So you have to be real careful that sometimes the specialty care is going to lead you down a rabbit hole. Yeah. And so you can be part of that by looking at Dr. Google, by interacting with your doctor, a good communication relationship with your doctor. Yeah. We think email is wonderful because patients can say, what about this, what about that? And I get a chance to say, they didn't tell me that. They didn't tell me that. Start changing the program based upon questions. They don't need an office visit for that.
Yeah. So this all stems having that great communication. Not only you got to have the right doctor.
That helps
in the first place, right? And sometimes it's predicated by insurance. Sometimes it's he's the guy that's close. Sometimes it's that,
or it's almost always those things.
It's almost always those things. But in your eyes, how does someone find the right doc? Because at the same time, I walk into the office and they all got the same degrees and they all I can't tell the difference. I don't know if you're better than the next guy, right?
You can't, and trust me, I'll have patients say, I have some advanced degrees that matter with what I do, and they say, well, my doctor said. I go, well, where did he get that advanced degree in nutrition or whatever? Well, I don't know that he has one. Well, until then, why don't he listen to me? You listen to me. I'm not listening to him, okay? Yeah. But doctors will opine on just about anything, and that's a problem. The state medical board can tell you whether doctors have had problems. When I talk about problems, I'm talking about malpractice and issues like that. The key is don't go to a known bad doctor.
Well, of course,
nobody will tell you who that is, and you don't see it on the door. I'm a bad doctor. Right. But finding a good doctor means finding someone who can communicate with you, work with you, get results. And the fourth thing, get results. The fifth thing, get results. You've got to feel better, and preferably with less medication. Like we're not talking cortisone and continuing drugs. We're talking about really getting better by healing your body.
Yeah. You say organ and systems doctors.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Oh, it's very simple. Okay, when I have a gut problem, I'm going to go to a gastroenterologist. I have a skin problem, I'm going to see a dermatologist. Okay. Well, those guys are at the end of the problem. Okay. But a causative doctor, someone who's looking for where do these things come from? I'll give a great example. I think doctors stop asking why about 5 questions too early. Okay. So you come in, it's the first time ever you've been found to have high blood pressure. Okay, well, I'm not going to write the prescription. I'm going to find out, first of all, what are the dimensions of this? I'm going to have you take measurements at home, things like do some special testing just to make sure. But why do you have the high blood? Wouldn't that be the key?
Right.
Let's treat the why, okay?
Let's look at the why. Did your diet change? Did your stress levels change?
Most of that's in the history.
Yeah.
And the history is, well, I'm an auto mechanic, okay? When you were a kid as an auto mechanic, did you wash all the parts in leaded gasoline?
Yeah.
Things go in slowly or quickly but come out slowly. Those kinds of things can be real problems. So keep asking why till you get to something you can really address.
So I'm going to put you on the spot here, because I'm innately curious about this. How do we find a doctor that we know is going to ask that question?
You don't know.
That's
okay?
that's got to be the hardest
hard
thing,
part.
right?
You want a doctor who's not rushed, okay? I have patients and they'll tell me things and I go, did you ask your doctor about, well, he's so busy. Busy doing what? Taking care of patients. And I go, well, what are you?
Aren't you a patient?
Well,
right.
Yeah,
like, give me the time. Yeah.
And so that's one of the things. In order to get the best from your doctor visits, schedule enough time. Maybe have another visit. And people go, well, I can't take the time from work. I can't afford it. Wait a minute. We're talking about your health. Your health is long-term, not short-term, okay?
Yeah.
And so really you have to deal with a doctor until you feel he's reached the limit of what he can do to help you. Yeah. And then you need to find someone else. Now, the problem is you just ask your neighbor or your worker or whatever. Gosh, it's tough. But there are organizations, and in the book we talk about, ways you can find and contact folks to find out. You really have to do the work because nobody else is doing it for you.
Yeah, really, really important. When you get a copy of the book, Mastering the Art of Success, Dr. D, you also have some other resources in there, some newsletters, some studies and stuff. Make sure you get a copy of the book. Really, really important that you do that, and where they can find out more information than this. The next step when we're in this process, and to slip into the driver's seat and set some goals.
Right.
What goals are we talking about
Well,
here?
I want to feel better.
What does that mean?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
Tell me, and this is sometimes, with a new patient, I've got to coach them along.
Yeah.
What do you want me to really help right now?
Yeah.
I mean, what do you want to leave and go, oh, this is starting to get better. Good.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll work on that because that encourages them to realize they are going to get better. And we've got stuff that can really work, even though it's different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, now you can test against it, and you're
exactly. And then when they come back, we're starting to find fewer and fewer problems because things are starting to get better.
Yeah.
What's your focus right now? Sometimes a patient will say, Greg, you'll love this. Well, and I've got this problem, and my doctor said, and I say, do you want me to fix that? And then they'll tell me more about their doctor said, no, wait a minute. Do you want me to fix that? Because if you don't, I won't pay attention to that. But if you do, let me go ahead and find what part of the system needs to be tickled that we're not yet tickling.
Yeah. So as you're playing along, watching along at home, when you go into the doctor's office, what is your goal? Is it to lower the cholesterol X number of points? Is it to, reverse diabetes? Is it to, it doesn't matter what it is,
walk
right?
farther.
You want to walk further, lose some weight,
sleeping,
feel better.
Whatever, yes.
But have a real goal.
Something we can
Doc,
do.
I want to feel better.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, have a drink. You might feel better. Have a glass of wine tonight, But
I'll be there with you.
Exactly. So have those goals. In the book, you talk about this concept called the spider web theory of medicine.
Yes,
What is this?
Well, with a spider web, if you pull on one part of the web, the whole web jiggles, okay? And so I don't have to find everything you need fixed.
Yeah.
I just have to find the ones, if I pull here and pull there and do this, everything else starts to readjust and get better because it's all interrelated. Your body is not separate organs. It's not separate functions. It's all happening at the same time. So if I touch here and touch there and you start feeling better, we win.
Right.
That was what was wrong. It's not a drug deficiency.
Well, so that's what I was going to say is in a lot of the pharmaceuticals and the prescription drugs and things, you're tugging on this and it's adversely affect. This might get a little better, but all these other things get teed off, right?
But Greg, I got to correct you. There are no side effects with drugs. There are none.
You've never heard one on a commercial, right?
They're just effects. The ones you get that you want, that's called therapeutic effect. The ones you get that you didn't want, that's side effects, okay? And the problem is, which ones are you going to, I don't know.
Yeah.
And especially when you start getting 2 and 3 drugs together, you're an experiment now.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever looked at that for a particular reason in you. And there's 320 million closets in America. Not anyone has the exact same clothes as any other. Well, wait a minute. Then if we personalize your clothes, which isn't that important, shouldn't we personalize your health? which is that important.
Yeah. So again, I love this spider web where you're just pulling on these little things. Most doctors don't look at that way. My dad used to say close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, right? And you say shotguns
and
as
shotguns.
well. And so with kind of the prescription drugs, that's what you're playing. We're going to get close, but we're just going to throw a grenade into your health, right?
Because a lot of this is to suppress what you came in with, the reaction. We have anti-inflammation, we have antihistamine, anti-pain, all these things, and pretty soon you realize
throw a grenade into the situation.
You're going to an anti-doctor. Anti-doctors do have grenades. We call them cortisone and fancy antibiotics. Most things do not need fancy antibiotics. That really can upset your system.
Yeah. You say to create a partnership.
Yes.
That's the key, right?
That is the key. The patient is not passive. The patient is active, has questions, has concerns, brings in articles, sends over information, and it's like, I'm filling in the picture of who they really are. And one of the problems is doctors don't have enough time. And so you fill out about 4 or 5, 6 hours worth of paperwork to get to see me because I'm looking for little details. And sometimes the patient will say as we're concluding the visit, well, does that relate to such and so? And I'm going, you didn't tell me about that. And all of a sudden it starts to fall into place for me. And so over time, as we see a patient, we're really developing a very good picture. That's how you fix them.
Yeah, I love this idea of the partnership. So it's not that you're on this pedestal looking down at me and telling me, do this, do that. It's no.
I do that too.
I'm sure. You're a doctor at the end of the day. But when we work at this level, where I say, hey, I'm feeling this and this. Well, do you feel? And you're asking me the right questions, and I'm giving you the right answers. Now we can really treat the problem.
Well, patients are not accustomed to that, and so sometimes they'll say, well, I've got this, and then they'll go on to something else. Whoa.
Let's talk about that.
Tell me more about that. And that starts filling in. Where do you pull on the spider web?
Yeah, exactly. Going along with that, I think it's really just what we're talking about now. You call it gazing into the crystal ball, if you will. What is this crystal ball?
Oh boy, doctors are supposed to have a fix for just about everything.
Right.
Okay. Well, I went in. Did you see the doctor? Are you better? No. Well, wait a minute. That's modern medical care. Okay. You end up with these chronic illnesses that are not getting better. You're getting this drug, that drug, a drug for the side effects for the second one, and so on. Well, that's not really looking into what's happening in the patient, which is where the answers are, and what's going to happen. And the going to happen is far more important because when patients come see me, I am looking at their future down the pike. Okay, I'm looking 5, 10, 15 years down the line. They think I'm there just working on fixing their problem, but their problem is more problems developing. Find and fix those before they come about. That's the predictive medicine.
I love that predictive medicine. Right along with that, you say that some estimates are that more than a third of patients are misdiagnosed.
Absolutely.
And then even worse than that, over 2/3 are given an incorrect treatment plan.
Oops.
That's not good.
No, but we depend on our doctors to be right.
Right.
Okay.
Well, that's why I went to you in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and it's the kind of the theory of I go to the doctor, you write me a prescription, I should take it because you're the doc.
Exactly.
What do I know? I'm just the guy on TV with the nice jacket. Like, I don't know about medicine.
I like your jacket. That's good. That's good.
But I'm supposed to trust you.
Exactly.
You're going to give me the
right.
You
have to.
Right. What other choice do I have?
Your life depends on it. Now, the question is, one of my friends says, well, the cardiologist doesn't get buried in your casket. Well, yeah, he better be right, okay? And the problem is, as a matter of fact, I'm introducing a series of books this next year called the Doubt Your Doctor series, okay? Because people don't know what questions they can use to figure out, does this make sense? Is this going to provide what I need, and so on? Well, my first one is called Heartbroken, the top 5 reasons to doubt your heart doctor. Okay, that's the flagship volume. But I have friends after 39 years. I've got friends who are going to write the gut one, the skin one, and so on, so that you actually understand the real thing that's going on. Science has marched along. Some of the doctors haven't kept up, but it's an impossible job. I mean, there's no way you can read all the stuff and you can't find it anyway. But if patients know the key things, they know how to figure out, hey, doc, wait a minute, let me ask about this. And that can steer your doctor into the correct direction as opposed to one that he's familiar with taking.
So there's, again, there's two sides of it. It's a partnership. There's two sides of it, right?
Absolutely.
So the patient can do some of their own homework,
I expect them to.
And you hope that they do.
I want them
I'm sure
to.
that they don't all, but there's some expectation from their side. But there's also an expectation from the doctor's side to stay up to date. But that's you got to be a doctor, and you got paperwork, and you got to see patients, and I'm sure you have a family that would like to see you every once in a while, and you can't read it all.
I got to tell you what's embarrassing, okay? Because I really kind of think I'm at the pinnacle of what I've been doing for a lot of time, okay? And I go, how did I miss that? Well, that information has been coming out, and I never saw it or didn't appreciate how it fits in. How'd that happen? Well, because there's only 24 hours in a day, but I had put in a request for 27 because I could use the extra study time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is true. Like staying up to date, even as a doc today, is difficult with new technologies and new treatments and new studies and new this. And you got to balance that with seeing the actual patients and doing the work.
And that's one of the reasons specialists can help, because they focus so tightly on a particular area. They educate me and they go, well, John, you could do that. Oh, thank you. And I go learn about that.
Yeah. Just staggering. I'm looking at the notes here. There's more than 14,000 worldwide journals for you guys.
Yeah. And probably more every day.
Probably more.
Because there's more going on the internet.
But then you got the internet and the blogs
online
and podcasts.
journals, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's just...
But they're not indexed. They're not in the computerized search engines.
Yeah.
And besides that, the engine is looking at things a particular way. It may miss the relevant article for you.
Yeah. So, and then it goes into specialists and generalists. Plays along with that as well. Because if I'm a specialist, aren't I supposed to know everything on that
specialty? Yes. I was kind of fortunate. When I was in medical school, I was at the NIH for hematology oncology. Okay, cancer and blood. Well, I'm struggling trying to get, I'm the gopher. Go get us some references on that stuff. I'm struggling with something. Guy comes up, says, can I help you with that? And I said, oh yeah. And so he just does it easy. And I said, how'd you do that? And he says, I wrote the program. And I said, can you teach me how to do that? Yeah. And so I'm pretty good at searching things, which is what an iPhone is made for. Because I can sit there with the patient and go, oh, here's something I hadn't thought of.
Yeah. So there's a lot of docs out there that are kind of one-trick ponies.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And you say when you can locate doctors widely recognized for teaching and thinking outside the box.
Yes.
Do we want a doctor that thinks outside the box?
Oh, I hope so. You know what Einstein said? We can't solve the problems we got into by the same thinking we used to get there.
Okay.
Got to have different thinking. Okay. Now, if everybody's getting better from something, great, no big deal. But if you're needing continuing medication, they're suggesting operations. If you're not getting the results, you need someone who's thinking outside that box.
Yeah. So, knowing that there's 14,000 journals, knowing that there's 24 hours in a day, knowing that there's specialists, generalists, can your doc really know everything?
See the knock on wood? That's the foundation. All right. I don't have to solve your problems. I have to find the foundation. I'll give you an example. Okay. Every house has utilities. It's got electricity, water, driveway, all the good stuff, right? Every house. Don't care who lives in it. So let's call a neighborhood a collection of those houses or cells. So that neighborhood would be the organs. And then your town, consisting of several neighborhoods, that's your city, okay?
Yep.
Well, if your problem is at a utility level, the foundation level, okay, then fixing that fixes all the neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And so that's what I focus on finding, that ask why 5 questions more.
Yep.
Okay, because if I can find that, so many things get better. I don't have to know about.
Yeah.
But your body does.
I love that. So that's what you're doing from the doc side.
Exactly.
Now let's put the focus on the patients who are the people watching right now.
Right.
You guys, right?
Right.
You got a pain, you got a problem.
Right.
What is the right way and what is the wrong way to play doc on the internet, if you will? Because I mean, my wife, I got 2 young ones, a 5-year-old, 3-year-old, and that's
that's your problem. I went through that.
I know, right? But my wife would be up at 10 o'clock. It's like, he coughed 3 times. My son coughed 3 times, and she's like, oh my God, he might have that. I'm like, no, he just coughed. So what's the right way and what's the wrong way?
The simplest thing to understand is that when you hear hoofbeats, you don't look for zebras, because horses are much more common unless you live in Africa.
Right.
Okay. So go for common things, because that's most likely what's really going on. The second thing, and it's very, very simple, is ask your doctor, could this apply to me? Okay. Now, what I get instead from some people, and we got to kind of educate them, is, well, I'd like to do this or I'd like to do that. Well, I understand what you'd like is results, but don't try to tell me how to get there. Propose things and let me run them through. The most important test is between my ears, okay?
Yeah.
So let me do that, because when you come in, you're probably going to be told to go to a doctor who will do what you want rather than do what you need.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
And so, yes, bring things to my attention. I tell folks, don't just send me, I heard about something, send me an email link to it so that I can go look at it and go,
verify it or check it.
That's good for you. Why didn't I think about that? Let's start it now.
Which is great.
Yeah. And I freely can admit, I don't know, or I didn't know, and I apologize, and here's how we're going to fix it.
Yeah.
That's just what people do with people.
Yeah. I think a big problem outside of just the healthcare industry, is that we have become a society of headline readers, as opposed to people of
you don't have to read the story.
No, you just see the headline of
Exactly.
this person did this something or this study, when you're just like, well, that was one sentence in a 400-page study, and it was disproven in the other pages.
Exactly. And having that critical view. You know, when I was in surgery training, we had journal club once a month. What we learned basically is about, well, maybe 25% of those studies are useful, and the others are pretty much useless, but they're filling the pages.
Yeah.
You got to know which ones.
Yeah.
You know?
So I want to help the patients, right?
Yes.
That's what we're here to do.
Yes.
You wrote about this in the book.
Yes.
And you wrote about all of these different ways to get the best experience working with your doctor. We're gonna kind of go through these one by one.
Exactly.
If you want more in-depth stuff on this, get a copy of the book, Mastering the Art of Success. You can grab it on Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com, wherever you want to get your book. Dan, who's behind the cameras right now, these are a little small because there's a lot of tips here. So if you need to make it full screen, make it.
Patients are important.
They are important. They need to know stuff, right?
Exactly.
This first one seems trivial, but at the same time, if it's a partnership, I need to respect your time. You need to respect my time.
Right,
so
exactly.
be on time, right?
Be on time. Well, see, I'm sorry, but I've got another appointment now, so I'll see you later.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's what happens is if you're late, especially early in the morning, you bump everybody back, or we just cut your time short. Well, trying to explain that to a patient. So we really want people in early, prepared, ready. They've got their written stuff. They know about things.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's make it happen.
I love that. Simple. Be on time, folks. The second one, we talked about goals earlier.
Exactly.
And so the second one has to do with goals. Know why you're there. Why am I there?
Write them down. Write them down. Yeah. Because, you know, when you write things down, you're focusing on it, and it gets real crystal clear. I got to have this happen because I'm planning on vacation in 8 months, and I want to go to Europe, and I want this or that. Fine. Let me know that ahead of time.
Yeah.
Write it down.
So what's the best way that they come in prepared and knowing why they're there? Are they bringing in a 40-page research paper that they did, or is it just a clear goal? Like, what's best for you?
They might, but usually they'll come in with a page or two written down, which is these are my goals. Please let me know what your drugs and supplements are. Yeah. You know, that little white pill does not help me, okay? Yeah. Especially if you saw another doctor. In the meantime, okay, don't say, oh, I'm taking everything that, you said the last time, and then you find out, well, you didn't mention this, you didn't mention that. Those things don't help because I'm putting it through my test here. Just come in with written down stuff, and it makes it so easy.
Yeah. You say you're going along, know what pills and potions you're taking. Goes right along with that.
Absolutely.
Is the worst problem not knowing what they're taking, which is, I think, a problem, right?
That's
or not revealing it to you what they're taking, because then you don't make an accurate.
Both, because it has the same result. Yeah. When I say, okay, I want to do this, and they go, well, I'm already taking something like that. No. Oh, yes, I am. When did you start that? Well, I saw this advertisement. I got something in the mail. I did, whatever. It's like, but that's not the same thing as what I'm trying to do.
Exactly. You say that you should also know how you're feeling.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
That's another. It's like abstract, right? How are you feeling? I don't know. I feel okay.
Yeah. Well, my knee hurts.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, help me out. Is it when you get out of bed? Is it when you're in bed? Is it when you're walking? If you're climbing stairs? Does it hurt on the inside or the outside? Give me some information, because knees are pretty complicated, okay?
Yeah.
Everything else about your body is as well. Give me details, the reporter, who, what, where, when, why. Yeah. What time does it happen? How much does it bother you? What do you have to do for it? Mm-hmm. Every time this happens, I have to take a couple Motrin. Ooh, okay, we got to address that because those are dangerous drugs.
Yeah, and I think it's just, just consciously looking at the last 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours of your life. Right. All right, I got out of bed, stung a little. Got in my car, stung a little. Got out of my car. I'm making this up, but but having that, and that way I come to you and I'm like, well, this is, right now I'm okay because I'm sitting. Right. But every time when this, and now you're like, okay, I got it.
Right.
Right. Know how you're feeling.
As soon as I know that, I'm on to the next question, because I already know what your treatment plan is going to be on that. Let's get more stuff handled.
Right. Love that. This is an important one. Be honest about what you've done and what you haven't done. It's like, I know you're not a dentist, but every time you've ever gone to the dentist, say, so John, you flossing? Yep. You've never flossed in your entire life, right?
Right.
So be honest about what you've done and what you haven't done.
Exactly, because you know what? I'm assuming, and again, remember the most important test is between my ears. I'm assuming, well, we tried that and it didn't work, but they didn't try that. Mm. And that may have been the simplest solution. So now we're off on more testing and more complicated things. Make it easy.
Yeah, just be truthful.
Honest.
Yeah, we talked earlier about being on time, but while you're there, the clock is ticking. Because
it is ticking.
If we're being brutally honest, you have X number of patients that you got to see as soon as you're done with this one. So
Right.
you talking about Aunt Matilda's, raccoon collection.
But you know, she went to that doctor. Did you know that doctor in Fort Worth? No. Well, he did, and it's like, whoa.
All of a sudden, it's 15 minutes later, and you don't have time now
to deal with her.
Yeah.
And we're not getting anywhere. I need to know about you and how to help you.
Yeah. So, and again, it comes with being focused, having those goals. If you have
Right.
those goals and you're focused,
it's easy.
It's easy.
We get the right story easy.
Yep. You say to schedule your follow-up visits.
Yes.
Right then. So,
Good idea.
Yeah.
Good idea, because that way you don't get locked out because, the doctor's on vacation that week, and so there's a pile of patients you can't get in. Or the specialist, sometimes it takes 6-8 weeks to see a specialist. We'll call that day and get it scheduled.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're procrastinators just by nature, right?
I hope so. I'll get around to that. We can talk later. Yeah.
I love that. So schedule those follow-up visits. This one I think is super important. You say to immediately question if you're reluctant or have questions about a test or a treatment.
Oh my gosh. I have patients, this test, you can get this test. Well, I don't want the radiation, and go, this one doesn't involve radiation. Well, it's a radiology department. I got that. But if you'd have just asked, we'd have told you this one doesn't involve radiation. Oh, okay, well, I'll go get it. Well, that's great, but now we're on to the next visit if we need to do any detailed discussing on it.
Yeah, and the best time to bring that up is right when you give me that thing.
Right then. So, or call back and say, I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Just let us straighten it out. That's what my nurses are for,
Yeah.
My staff's been there, 27 years, 13 years, 6 years. I mean, they've hung around. We know the stories.
Yeah, I love that. So take advantage of it now. Once you've popped the pill or you've done this or you've done the test, it's too late.
Right.
So do it now. I love this one, and I guess it goes back in my head. Is this not a common practice? Is to request your diagnosis and treatment in writing? Are most doctors not delivering that? I mean, that seems crazy.
That's correct. That is not delivering it. Or it's in the code. Well, the diagnosis guy, nobody who knows what that.
Code 8764.
Not otherwise specified. Okay, great. But
doesn't help me.
But if you just give me the spelling, I can go to Dr. Google, I can go to Wikipedia, I can look at all these things and find more information and go, oh, I didn't realize that. I've got to let the doctor know, blah, blah, blah. And a new test shows up that's more important for you than all the things we've done before.
Yeah.
Because you can spell it correctly.
So important. Just little things, right?
Right.
Ask your doctor for copies of all lab reports and consultant notes.
Absolutely. We give them to everybody. As soon as I get a test, I'm writing all over it. And the nurses are either calling them and saying, we got something here, or mailing a copy of it, emailing, whatever. Consulting reports, I write all of those too, because you know what? That doctor dealt with you, and I'm reflecting on what he did.
Yeah.
Or she did. We'll be gender neutral on this. What it did, okay?
Yeah.
But the deal is that's important. It's you we're talking about, and your future, your family, your health and comfort.
So important. We got 2 formulas. I was unaware that there was going to be math in today's presentation. But this first one is that when you're going to the doctor, when you're working with your partner, the doctor,
yes.
C plus C is your goal. Comfortable and capable. Talk about both sides of that.
It's really interesting, because if you stop and look, as we're an aging population, okay, you start getting a little crickety and stuff. We're looking for a place for mom, right? Well, the deal is that if you're comfortable in your life, you can get up, take care of yourself, do your food, enjoy your life that day, and so on. That's comfortable.
Okay.
The capable part is you're able to do all those things without limitation. You're not likely to fall. You're not having to worry about that I forget my walker in the other room or my cane or something like that. Even if, and I like this even better, get out to walk, even if you're able to drive. That means you're independently living, because a nursing home costs like $4,000 to $6,000 a month.
Yeah, no big deal.
And the way they've written the law, they will get their money. They'll just take all your assets. And the deal is, wait a minute. If you're comfortable and capable for a year longer, what's the value on that? Well, see, I look at value in terms of how I'm going through my life, not in terms of the raw dollars. That's much more important. And if you live to 80, you're going to live to 81. People don't realize the older you live and you're comfortable and capable, the older you're going to live. Let's keep you that way.
It's really powerful. So comfortable and capable. So that's math formula 1.
Right.
Math formula 2 here.
Yes.
2C plus 2C equals A plus. And I don't have it on the screen, but what that is a curious patient and a compliant patient.
Yes.
Plus a competent doctor. And a communicative doctor.
Exactly. You have to be interested in your own care. It's not passive. It's you and me, babe. Okay.
Yeah.
And if you do that, and then you do what I say, or at least fess up if you didn't. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you've got to have a doctor who can make sense out of things you bring, and who can communicate to you what you need to do. A lot of times I go, well, I didn't really understand what he said. Really? Get the note, get me the notes. I'll make it make sense, okay? Yep. But that is really how to get an A+ rating with your health, because we're not doing this for you to feel good. We're doing this for you to feel good.
Yeah.
This is your future.
Yeah. As we start to wrap up here, we're going to talk about how people can learn more from you, get more information, but what's the biggest difference between the patients who go from that 8, 9, 10 to the 0, 1, 2 and the ones who stay at the 8, 9, 10? What's the difference between the people that you actually help to make that transformation?
It's so easy, I got to tell you. Well, I was hesitant to do that for whatever reason, or I needed to understand more about it before I did it, or for some reason they dilly-dallied, they didn't do what we said to do, and so they kind of stymie along. And my best patients are when they turn the corner and go, okay, I'm going to do what you say, and they just rocket ride to getting better. God built the system. All I'm doing is just reporting on what you need to do the maintenance on it. If you got a car and didn't put gas and oil in it, you'd be in trouble. And I'm just telling you about the gas and the oil.
Right, yeah, not all the other stuff.
Yeah.
I can tell you my biggest takeaway is the goal setting.
Yeah.
Know what you want from that visit.
Absolutely.
Have a goal, because I'm a very, I do a lot of working out, things like that. You have a goal. I want to lift this amount of weight. Cool.
Right.
I'm 30 pounds away. How am I going to strategically get better?
Exactly.
I want to lower these number of points of cholesterol. I want to...
gradual baby steps on set simple things. When we tell patients to exercise who haven't been, we say, get on, we like a glider instead of a treadmill, but either one.
Cool.
Let's say you can exercise 3 minutes and you're tired. Well, get off.
Great.
The next day, 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
Yeah.
The next day, 3:20. And they go, well, that's awful slow. Yeah, but in a week, you're going to add a minute, and in a month, you're going to double your time easily.
And you're winning. Yeah. You're on the path
exactly.
towards.
And part of our problem is we take care of everything. It's kind of like, we call it one-stop shopping. You come in, you've got this and that and this and that and the other. Make sure I'm focused on what's bugging you, not just the other stuff as well.
Yeah. Incredible stuff. Couple things before we take off. A, get a copy of the book, Mastering the Art of Success. Came out today. Go to the Amazon.com, order a copy, support Dr. T and all the other incredible authors in this book. If you have questions about anything Dr. T and I just went over, make sure you send them in, because we're going to be doing a live Q&A session in just a minute. So make sure, if you have those questions, maybe your doctor gave you a wrong diagnosis or this or that, you can get into this guy's brain right now, here, live today. So send in those questions. And Dr. T, if they want to learn more about you, you have an incredible website, healthchoicesnow.com.
Right.
What are they going to find there?
Well, here's the deal. If you don't know you have Health Choices Now, you don't have any.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we do is just talk about a lot of the different things that we do and results that people can get, so they go, wait a minute, I haven't seen a doctor do that for me. Bingo, now you're more educated and you can be able to go in.
Yeah.
That's the C+C kind of thing.
I love that. Yeah. So you got the website, healthchoicesnow.com. Easy for them to go to. You also have, I love the phone number. The vanity number is amazing. I love that as a marketing guy. 1-800-FIX-PAIN. What happens when I call that phone number?
You get to actually talk to a real person.
Oh, a human. Yeah, I love that. That's incredible.
We looked at the idea of setting up, a maze, and no. You get to talk to the real folks. Tell them what's going on with you. Often I have friends around the country who can do a really good job for you. Yeah. And if not, we're right next to the Intercontinental Airport in Houston. We don't see patients very many times. All we need to do is get you on the right program, let you percolate for a while, kind of like cooking a stew.
So who is the ideal person that should be going to the website, that should be going picking up the phone?
They're desperate because they're really sick and they're scared.
They're sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Exactly, but they're really worried. This could get worse compared to how it is right now.
Yeah.
Motivated, okay? And I want to get better, okay? Because sometimes I'll tell people, this is what that's so inconvenient. That's costly. Well, wait a minute. Nobody's ever told you something that'll fix your problems, and now you're worried about how much it costs. Howard Hughes died flying into, Texas from Mexico. He had all the money in the world and couldn't make it to care that could save his life. The question is results. It's always results.
Yeah.
So you want results, you're desperate, you're scared, and you're motivated. Those patients are easy.
I love it. If you want some results, you need to go see Dr. T. Healthchoicesnow.com, 1-800-FIX-PAIN. And if you just want to start to get into his world, get a copy of the book. There's a lot of resources that you point people to, some additional studies, some newsletters, all kinds of things. Only available in this book. Go to Amazon.com, Mastering the Art of Success. After you do, sign up to his newsletter, get his, all of his new information and education, get educated. Know that you do have health choices, but it's up to you. It is your your personal responsibility to develop a relationship, a partnership, if you will, with your doctor. But it's on you. You got to come to the table just as much as you want the doctor to come to the table. Submit your questions for Dr. T. We're going to do some live Q&A. We're going to take a very short commercial break. It gives you time to go buy the book, gives you time to go to the website. We'll see you guys in just a minute. Dr. T, that was awesome, my friend.
Pleasure. Thank you, Greg.
We'll be back in just 1 second with more from today's live book launch for Mastering the Art of Success.